Right, good morning, everybody. It's great to see all of you in person again. We're very excited. We had a busy year last year, releasing quite a bit of new functionality, and we have a lot that we have on the roadmap for 2023. So we're excited to kind of share all of that with you. I'm Rebecca Beatty. I'm the Senior Product Manager over COB Smart. I've certainly met many of you and always welcome all of your input. That really helps us to inform what we build for the product. So many of the things we're building are based on feedback that we've gotten from all of you. And this is Makita Ricketts. I'll allow her to introduce herself quickly.
Hi, I'm Makita Ricketts. I am the Assistant Product Manager for COB Smart and particularly focus on the portal.
All right. So I thought it would just be nice to kind of review. We've had a lot of growth in the platform in the past year. So I wanted to just look at where we were in 2021, the last time we had one of these conferences, which was, of course, virtual, versus where we are today. So you can see our membership has increased quite a bit from 194 million to 235 million, which, of course, benefits all of us because the more lives we have in the system, the more data that you all have access to. Our medical membership specifically has increased significantly. Also, the pharmacy membership has gone up, which is exciting because, as you'll see shortly, we just recently released a pharmacy enhancement to the solution. And we also have had 8 plans join since we had our last conference, which is a pretty significant increase in the number of plans. And also the number of plans who are participating in data validation and the total number of lives. As you can see, that's gone up by 86% since the last symposium. So we've had really tremendous growth in the platform. We have quite a bit more, I think, on track for the end of the year and for next year. So this is always very exciting to see how much change we're seeing from year to year. This is, of course, our heat map. Many of you, I'm sure, have seen this before. But you can see from 2021 of last year to this year how much additional market penetration we've achieved. So these states that are in dark blue are states where we have more than 90% market penetration. And you can see this is definitely, just in 1 year, how much more blue this map has gotten. So our goal is, of course, eventually this whole map will be bright blue, but we're definitely trending in that direction. Did want to just give a quick plug. We have a little survey. If you text COB Smart to 22828, we're just trying to collect some additional information from all of you to help kind of inform the product and make sure we're paying attention to the things that are important to you. So you don't have to take this right this second. This will be available throughout the day. But this is we're just collecting some data from you to kind of help inform some of the things that you're seeing today. So we're going to start by talking about some of the things that we completed in the past year. So I think many of you are familiar with our validation service. We did release this enhancement, which we're calling retrospective validation. So this is an additional service that's available. The regular validation service kind of works every week. We're validating your overlaps. But if you wanted to go back in time and do a retro validation, this is something that's available to you as well. And this is, it's essentially a batch process for doing validations. So if you wanted to go back in time, you can choose the time period, you can choose the specific payers that you're validating against. You can even go down to the reporting entity level or look at internal versus external overlaps, and even down to the overlap type. So it's just a very flexible service if you wanted to do, if you were doing a data audit, or if you just recently went live with data validation and you wanted to look a year back, this is an optional service that's available. So if you're interested, you can just reach out to your account manager about this, but this is now something that's available to everybody who is participating in data validation. As I mentioned, we also just recently launched our pharmacy service. We will have a pharmacy-specific session later in the day, so we'll talk about this a little bit more. But we just in June launched the ability to now match pharmacy to pharmacy overlaps the same way that we do medical to medical, and to also determine primacy on those overlaps. So this is just a very new service. We're certainly hoping that everybody takes advantage of this. It is included in your membership. So if you are sending us pharmacy data today, you will be getting these overlaps back in your weekly file. And as I mentioned, we'll have a whole session specifically on this enhancement, but this is a major enhancement, and we're very excited this has recently gone live. We also had just some smaller kind of housekeeping enhancements. Field 40, which is the not subject to COB indicator, we did flip that from required to mandatory this year, and we just want to make sure everybody is populating Field 40 because this is very important. If you do not populate this, we cannot render a primacy determination at all. It is the first step in the flow, so just please make sure that you are populating Field 40. This is why we did go ahead and change that from required to mandatory. We also made some changes to our primacy logic this year so that we are now reflecting the 2013 NAIC rules. I believe we were previously reflecting the 2007 NAIC rules, so this is just to make sure that we continue to stay on top of all the rules and that our logic is as updated as it can be. And then we are also adding a new business model value. This is just a request from some of our health plans that we add the ability to code to commercial supplement or major medical. So this is in Field 33. This will just be another option that is available to you. This is going to be, it's currently being developed. We're going to launch this on December 1st. I believe we have sent out some emails about this. Even if you're not using this business model, we just want to make sure you're aware that it may be coming to you in your file. So if you have any automation built around these business values, that you just have time to make sure that you're ready to ingest this particular value. All right, and so those are the completed options that are in the regular database. And I'm going to turn it over to Makita to talk about what she's been working on for the portal.
So portal enhancements this year have really had a positive impact on the back end for our payers, and as a result, our utilization of the portal has significantly increased. So for logins, let's say on average 700 more daily logins this year than we had last year. For our member searches, which is the most utilized part of the portal, this year we had a almost 4,000 increase in member searches done daily by users. And then, of course, our biggest rollout and the most helpful tool I think so far that we've put on the portal is our workflow tool, which helps facilitate payer-to-payer communications. And that has actually had about over 24,000 closed inquiries that were sent to and from payers this year. So we've definitely had quite a bit of increase in our utilization of the portal as we have continued to roll out these enhancements. So some of the enhancements we rolled out were our changes to exports. So user analytics, which helps payers manage how their users are working the portal, especially remotely, and how their teams are utilizing our systems. We now have made that exportable, so you can download those reports on how your users are logging in and the searches they're doing. Group migrations, which helps identify those groups that need to be termed that have now migrated to other payers. That's also exportable, so that data is also able to be downloaded into Excel files so you can work it in your own workflow. So just to reiterate what workflow is, it helps facilitate peer-to-peer communications. Pairs can send each other data and escalation inquiries directly, and it's tied to our member records, so you don't even have to put that information in again. That data is already displayed, and you can send that directly to another payer. And I think this was a question yesterday. If you weren't at the boot camp, somebody did ask about the response time. If we do give everyone at least 5 business days to respond, we have a much quicker response time normally than that, but that's the minimum you can ask people to respond in, so that we're giving people time and to get to these inquiries and work them. So some of the enhancements that we had to the workflow tool this year were on the homepage. We got a much more detailed summary of the inquiries. So as soon as you log into the portal, you get to see all of the inquiries and their status, if they're closed, if they're aged, if they're opened. We've also added 2 new inquiry reasons that you can send an inquiry payer to payer. So one of them is group termination. You can ask another payer to term the entire group. And the other piece is a family termination, where you can ask them to term everyone in that dependents and the subscriber of that policy. And then also we have done a bit of the same thing with the exports of managing that inquiry page and allowing exports that you've received and submitted to be downloaded so you can look at them outside of the portal and work them within your teams. We've had several other enhancements that really are about user collaboration, so I'll get into that now. So the first thing we've done is we've allowed payers to reopen closed inquiries. If you sent an inquiry and the payer has responded and you don't think that that's the correct response, or you have additional information or questions about that inquiry, you can reopen it. easily. You can just go in, click the button, hit a new date, and that's going to be defaulted for 5 business days in the future. And that resets that inquiry. It will go to the top of the queue, and then that will automatically be sent to that receiving payer again. So you don't have to input any of that data over. The other thing we've done is to help people who are receiving these inquiries really work them within their teams. We've added an in-process checkbox. So the receiving payer can click on the in-process checkbox when they get an inquiry, and that will identify the other people on their team that they have started work on an inquiry. When I or you or whoever's on your team goes in and checks, we would be able to hover over that checkbox, and we would see when that person clicked that inquiry and started working on it, and who was that person who did that. And then for the receiving side, I would be, if I'm the payer sending it to you guys, I would see it in red that inquiry line has been clicked in process. I won't be able to see who started work, but I'll be able to see that it is in red and that somebody's working on it. And that just helps kind of communicate as well that your inquiry is being answered and responded to. And then once it's closed, it will go back to black. So once that inquiry is done and they're no longer working it and they've closed it, then you will see that in black, and then status would change to close as well. The other thing we've done is to help facilitate timely responses to these inquiries and to make sure that people are responding when they get the inquiries and that they don't go past that response date. We've actually started to escalate age inquiries directly to the payer admins at each payer. So if the inquiry is 8 days past due, which means that at that point it's 8 days past the response time that the other payers asked for, the payer admin would receive an email letting them know that that inquiry needs to be worked. You only get 1 email a week. It's automatic. It's just a running count of all the inquiries that you need to respond to that are now past that response date. And we rolled this out in August, so it's fairly new, but we haven't had any complaints so far, so I think it's working pretty well. Okay, so now for the fun part, what we're going to do going forward. So I know Michael talked about this a little bit. We are rolling out a brand new API. An API is just a way for software to communicate externally using a set of protocols and definitions. So we will be doing that for the portal. Part of the API is to make the portal data more accessible to you guys and digestible on your end. It is an optional feature. You don't have to enroll, but you can enroll if you want to. It's supposed to really integrate that backend system for you guys. It's going to focus on a couple of things in that first phase that we're doing, and it's going to basically mirror the portal search option. So you'll have those 4 parameters to actually be able to pull out that data from the portal and digest it how you would want on your backend Excel or etc. And then the benefits, of course, are that all the search parameters for the portal will be included. The results can be batched. So this would really replace anything that you need to do individually lookups, or if you need to do screen scraping or you need a bunch of results from that portal at once, you can batch the results and get that in real time at once. And then it'll be customizable, of course, and integrated into whatever processes you have. And then the goal is to launch this in early 2023. So if you're interested in the API, please let us know as we go along today, or reach out to your account managers and tell them that you're interested, and we'd be happy to facilitate getting you guys on board for this when it launches. So next is our multi-factor authentication. This is really a benefit to help you guys get onto the portal in a more streamlined, fast way, and also just to make sure that the data we're managing is extremely secure. I know a lot of people, when they send that code, because of their firewalls, etc., that code right now is sent through email. And basically, it's hard. Sometimes the firewalls make it harder for you to get that right away, or it times out by the time you're getting ready to get on the portal. So this is really going to help you guys in the sense that you will be able to choose how you receive that code that you get from the portal when you're logging on. You can get it from text, which is quick, email again, or SMS. And we are using another, we're integrating with another system that particularly focuses on multi-factor authentication. So their emails should be able to get through your firewall a lot quicker too if you want to just continue with that email service. The other benefit to you guys is that your passwords are now self-service. You guys can reset that yourself and get back on the portal if you're logged on in a really easy way. And then the other part is that we will be making, again, the passwords a little bit stronger just for security reasons and to make sure that you guys are, and everybody else is being secure and safe with our data. The benefits, again, it's going to be faster, more streamlined. we are going to definitely have more security and then just a much more customizable login experience. So this is launching soon. There will be trainings as we do whenever we do anything new for the portal, and you will be receiving emails from your account manager and also from us on the launch as we get closer to that date. Okay. Next is the lifetime record view. Those of you who use the portal know that it has historical records going back 3 years. So when you do a search, you can get quite a few returns. So we are offering this as a way for you to be able to view that in a digestible way, in a more clear way, to understand kind of the overall history of that member. So it will be a chronological or lifetime display, which would then view every overlap from that member's coverage history. This would be in addition to the search options that you now get and the returns that you now get. So nothing's changing. This would just be something that we're adding on to view that data in a different way that might help just make it a little bit more clearer. Okay, next is family record view. I'm very excited about this one. I know this is something that people have really wanted and I've really wanted for a long time. So it is coming soon. Next year, hopefully, and we will get this to you. It is a way for you guys to, when you're searching for a member in our system, click a radio button and basically be able to pull that member and then all the dependents associated with that member and view them all at one time. So it's really going to help quite a bit, I believe, with the data and also now allowing payers to term families, whole families at once. So it will display all of them, the dependent and the subscriber associated with that reporting overlap. You can identify everyone who needs to be updated in that system. And then, of course, it's going to be in a new search page as well, so you can still go to the individual member directly if you want to. So this is just an addition. You still have the same search capabilities as you have now, but you can definitely do that different view whenever you want. And then I really think this is going to increase search efficiency for us and you, and hopefully this would just make it a lot easier for you guys to look at that data and holistically what's going on with that policy and that member. And of course, we have to enhance workflow some more. So for workflow this year, what we're trying to do is actually allow people at the receiving payer to tag people at different lines of businesses at that payer who better can respond to that inquiry. So I'll just explain. A lot of times you are working in the commercial side and you get an inquiry and you don't have access to that data. You're just at that payer, but that's actually a separate line of business that you cannot see. And a lot of users have trouble with that. So what we're trying to do here is allow you to tag a specific person to notify them that they need to go ahead and work that inquiry and send it to them. And this, I think, should really help. So one thing is that only people at your payer with response inquiry permissions would be able to be tagged. We will give you a list of users that have that permission. You can click which ones you want to send the inquiry to for them to work. Only received inquiries would have this capability. You cannot, if you're submitting an inquiry, send it to one person over another person. And then multiple people can be tagged. So if there's multiple people you need to notify to work this inquiry, you can. And then we're only sending one email. So once you notify them, they get that email, they have to go in and then work that inquiry. And then once it's tagged, they can't be untagged. So they will get that notification when they're in there to go ahead and work this. And this should help with those inquiries that you just can't answer because you just don't have access to that information. And then it should help also get inquiries answered a little faster. Okay. So other portal enhancements coming next year that should be helpful to you. Member search results. The member search results are basically those member records that come through. We're trying to be able to export that data as well for you guys so you can have that in a spreadsheet to share in your team or work offline the portal. Again, to improve like COB accuracy, we do allow you guys to go into the portal and update data in real time and make changes in real time on the portal. We are expanding those fields. So it will be funding model, demographic information, initial coverage start date. I know that's one that people are always asking about changing. And then, of course, additional employment information fields as well will be able to update in real time on the portal. In addition to the fields we have now, which is business model, coverage term, end date, the employment start date, and then also the family and relationship fields can be edited now. And in order to get you guys all the documentation, we have tech guides, we have reference guides, we have file specs, we have a lot of documentation that we get and put together for you guys and comms that we try to make sure that you have. We are going to redesign the document tab page just to make that a little easier and for it to be much more self-service and able for you guys to pull down what you need in those guides and that information in a quick and efficient way. And then group migration. We have a very successful group migration rate. We have like a 99% accuracy rate, I want to say, for group migration. Hopefully I'm not overstating it, but I believe that's correct. So that means that when we flag a group to be termed, a suspected group that we think needs to be termed, it needs to be termed. You should term it. So because of that very, very great accuracy rate, it's really due to the threshold and the algorithm that we use. And because it's so high, we want to make sure we're really accurate, that threshold is actually really high to qualify for group migration and for us to flag it. What's happening is some groups are just not being flagged as a result. So we are going to lower that threshold a little bit, so we are capturing more of those groups that do need to be termed by you and that are suspected by us to be termed, and we will roll this out and kind of give you guys more information about how that's going to be rolled out and what that means in terms of our accuracy when we are flagging these groups to be termed by you. Okay. So we are at the end. We are going to just open it up for any questions right now, but we also I will be in the Morgan room during breaks doing demos of the portal, answering any questions if you guys want to bring in your laptops, if you have any questions for me specifically on your own data, or if you just want to see a quick demo, we can definitely do that. There are also snacks and refreshments, and I hope I'm saying this right, Homemead, okay. So feel free to stop by there as well and stretch your legs in between the sessions. And then if there are no questions, we can go to break, or if there are questions, I'd be happy to take any now.
Either for family record view or family view, can you click on the dependent and go to the subscriber level, or can you only go in from the subscriber level down to the dependent?
That's an excellent question. So for the family record view, when it's returned, you will actually see a list of the subscriber and then all the dependents listed, starting with spouse, partner, and then the children dependents, and you can click into each one of those records individually. And then when you go back, you will get that same kind of table that's showing you the subscriber and then all of the dependents listed in ranking order from the spouse, partner, dependents, child dependent, et cetera, and other, which is just a way for us to tag those families that we don't know what they actually are, family members that we don't know what they are. So you will be able to go toggle back and forth, but you will get a holistic view of that family first and everyone included in that family, and then you can tag into the individual records. Any other questions? Okay.
Don't forget to take your survey.
Yes, and please do not forget to take the survey, and I'm not sure what the survey, perfect, thank you.
Are you still taking questions?
Yeah,
We had a couple come in online, and I'm actually going to just walk them up.
Sure.
And we have someone online that asked a few questions.
so the first question is the membership COB Smart membership doesn't include performant COB Smart membership? It will only include the health plans that are in our system that we work with that have opted in to COB Smart. We do not report on anyone else's data. The other question is portal usage. Is this one person works? Are all COB staff able to work within the portal? Whoever you give access to the portal can work in the portal. So we have some plans of 3,000 people on the portal, or how many thousand, I don't know. There's a lot. So it really just depends on how you want to use it and how you want to utilize it and within your team and what works best for you. And we're happy to help support training of staff and moving people if you get new teams in or need to onboard new people to the portal. We're always happy to facilitate that for you guys. Next question is, do clients use the portal only looking for an overlap versus receiving files with validated overlaps, non-validated overlaps? So do clients use the portal only looking for an okay, I think I understand this question. I think they're saying how people use the portal. If it's validated coming from the file, do they still go in and look at the portal? Again, that depends on your comfortability with the data, how comfortable you are with what you're receiving. But I will just say that a lot of times people just look up high dollar claims as soon as they come across their desk, but they don't even wait for the file. They go right into the portal for those to just make sure if there's a primary, secondary payer that they don't know about or other coverage they don't know about. The other way they utilize the portal is that a lot of times the validation results are a little quicker than you would get on the file. So even if it's validated or not validated in the file, you can go into the portal and it might be validated there. And then also, data correction efforts on the portal are much easier for our payers to do. So if you do have an issue with the data that you are receiving on the file, you can send an inquiry through the portal on that member record, and that the other payer can go in and update that before you get that file. So the next day, you could get that corrected data on that member instead of waiting a week for the file. But yeah, depending on how you feel when you get that file and the validated results you're getting, that would depend on if you go into the portal to double check those results. And I think that's it. Oh, wait, one more question, sorry. Oh, this is only commercial, no Medicare, right?
No, we have
Medicare,
several.
yeah. Go ahead.
We have several lines of business. Everybody's welcome to submit as many of their lines of business as they are interested in to COB Smart. So we're, I think, at about 60% commercial, but about 40% of the membership in COB Smart comes from other lines of business. I think Medicaid is the second largest, and then we have smaller amounts of additional lines of business from there.
And in the portal, there is also a box that will let you know if it is subject to Medicare, or if that member does have any Medicare coverage as well.
Is that Medicare Part C only, right? No A or B information in there?
On the portal, it just says, there's codes, but
No fee for service Medicare. We only have Medicare Advantage or Medicaid MCO.
That's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
and then the other question is we charge per active member, not overlap. That is already known. If you, go ahead.
Yes, so billing is a PMPY fee on your active membership, so it's not dependent on the overlaps, it's just dependent on your total membership.